Would you love to give us a reading? Whatever comes through, I'm always open to the channeler.
Love it. I think I want to do a collective reading. I think
Yes.
this has been a very fascinating year for people. And so I think no matter when you're listening to this, even if you're listening to this in 2024 or whatever it might be, know that again, tarot is just offers you a moment to reflect and look within and see like how this could resonate with you. What I often offer clients is there's two ways to know if something's resonating with you. You can have an aha. You can have a moment like, aha, like that really like, ooh, well, there's something there. Or you could have an oh shit. And an oh shit is going to be, oh man, like that hurt a little. I don't want to look at that. Ooh, there's something there. And that's pointing to that shadow work that we were talking about earlier. If anything in this reading comes through as an aha or maybe an oh no, that's a little indicator to look within, to listen a little bit deeper to that bit of advice and see how that might apply to you. All right. So I'm shuffling my cards right now. And just in case you're wondering, there's no right way to shuffle. Find your own way to shuffle. That's one of my popular videos on TikTok. I like kind of made fun of the fact that you have to have a perfect way. And I was like, no, I'm kidding, guys. You don't have any perfect way to shuffle. All right. Feeling good. All right. So I just set an intention. What is it that we need to know right now? I'm pulling, oh, they want to pull 4 cards. We're going to do an advice spread, it seems. Beautiful. Ooh, I love this. This is going to be a really beautiful reading. So I pulled 4 cards for us. And I call this my advice spread because it's 3 cards that give you advice. It's like, what do you need to know right now? What do you need to work through? What is something that's going to help you at this time? And then anchoring 3 cards is a 4th card that is, what is your energy right now? So, like, what are you embodying? What is the energy of the collective that we're working through? Since this is a collective reading, what is the collective's energy? And then what is the advice available to us to help us through this time? And so the card that I got for the collective's energy is 8 of Wands. 8 of Wands is a bit of a mystical card. So I really love that we're getting this on this podcast. It's a card that sometimes traditionally is known as like the divine gift card. It's these 8 wands that are coming from the sky and they're coming down to you. And there's a lot of movement in this card. And so often people are like divine timing, divine gift, divine alignment. And what I really love about this card and how I interpret this card is all eights are a pivot point in the tarot. They're a moment where we work through 1 through 7 and we get to the 8, and it's a huge pivot point where we start to actually get an alignment with the true gift of that suit. And the gift of the 8 of Wands is authentic expression of our energy. And so when we have the 8 of Wands, we finally get to this pivot point where we're like, oh, when I'm actually aligned, when I'm actually expressing myself authentically, the wind is at my back. It's pushing me forward. I'm in alignment with this divine timing. Things start to flow more effortlessly to me. It's a moment where that light bulb kind of clicks for us, where we realize we don't have to push as hard and we can allow the natural energy of the world to help push us forward. And so to see this card as our collective energy, I feel like as a collective, we're starting to understand this. We're starting to awaken to the fact that we really need to come back to, okay, if I'm living in my truth, if I'm living in that beingness of myself, I'm going to find the right path for me. And then my right path will then help other people mirror back to other people their own right path. And we then can have this beautiful ripple effect out in the world. I'm getting chills like thinking about this because this is like my hope for the world. Like if I were to have one hope or dream for the world, it's that we all start doing this more. We all start living more from a place of authentic expression of ourselves, and in doing so, we're then going to be able to change the earth in a profound way. So, no big deal, not big energy at all, everybody. That's all beautiful. That's also like wonderful. But like, how do we work with this then? And that's where the advice cards come in. What do we need to know to help us really embody this, to really step into this? And I love that we got this card. So, our first advice card is the judgment card. And the judgment card is a card where we are at a fork in the road. And one fork, one of the roads, is almost like a track loop. It's like a high school track loop, and it's a track loop because you've gone on that track before. You've done that circle before. It is well maintained, well oiled machine of existence for you. It is a decision you've made in the past. I used to work in corporate America and I would just kept taking the next right job that would pay me more money. And it was like I was at a fork in the road. I'm like, okay, I could either stay on this path of just taking a new job that's going to pay me more money and like I'm uncomfortable, but at least it's the discomfort that I know. The other path is like hidden in the woods and it's overgrown with brush and you don't know of anyone who's ever taken it, but you know in your heart of heart that that's the right path for you. It's this calling, this desire, this push to go towards something that you haven't done before, that feels a little unsteady, a little scary, but you know is a greater calling for you within yourself. And so when we pull the judgment card, it's an invitation to look at what fork in the road are we at right now? Where are we being asked to decide if we want to go down the same old thing one more lap, or do we want to go on a brand new path that might take us to something even bigger, grander, more exciting? But it's scary. And this can be little things, you guys. This doesn't have to be massive. This can be like how you wake up and spend your mornings. This can be your job. This is how you treat your friends. This is like an invitation that's being put out to you to maybe like, run a fundraiser, with a group of people. And you're like, oh, I've never done that before. That sounds scary. But you're like, you know what? I'm going to try it. When we pull judgment card, I'm curious. Ask yourself, sit with what sort of forks in the road do you find yourself at? What decision point are you grappling with right now? And which one actually feels more aligned with your heart's calling, with your inner knowing, your intuition? And can you maybe just take a couple steps down that path and just at least see what's happening there? Just a little bit, because once you find yourself going down it, you might be like, oh, maybe I want to keep doing this. Okay, so what's going to be a blocker to this? And so even though this is an advice spread, sometimes the cards talk to each other. And this is one of those instances. So what's going to be a blocker for you for this decision point, for this pivotal point in your life? And we got the Five of Cups. The Five of Cups, when I sum up a card in like one word, I would sum up the Five of Cups as shame. It's the shame card. When we have Five of Cups, the story here is there's a person, they have three cups that they spilled over, they cracked, they spilled all their contents out, they're broken, and then they have two cups next to them that are still upright. When you look at them, you can see that they're completely absorbed in shame. They're just staring at the three broken cups and like, I messed up. How could I do this? I'm so stupid. I'm so dumb. I'm the worst. When we pull the Five of Cups, it's a bit of a beacon that's saying, hey, what shame stories are you spiraling out on right now? What shame stories are preventing you from taking the two cups that you still have, the things that are still going well in your life, and picking them up and moving forward? Because the Five of Cups isn't saying like you need to stay here and be in shame. It's saying, accept this. Accept the mistake that you've made. Shadow work. Accept that there's parts of yourself that you don't love, that are scary, that frighten you, that are intense, that are so much. But when you look at them and you actually can work with them and you see them and you say, all right, I see you. I see that I made that mistake. I see that part of myself that makes me cringe. And you say, I'm going to move forward anyways. I'm going to take this with me. You're going to then find that making that decision to go down that road, down that path less traveled, will be easier to bring that along. You can't let shame block you from making decisions that you know in your heart are true. You have to then pick up the two cups that are still intact and move forward with your life. If eights are a pivot point, they're like when we start to integrate the lessons, fives are blockers. It's where we most often get stuck. So many of us get stuck in the shame stories that we then don't move forward in our lives. So just be aware, kids, if you're noticing some shame coming up, sit with it, journal on it, maybe get that shadow work journal. That's on TikTok. Okay, so the final card we have here is the King of Pentacles reversed. And so the King of Pentacles is the master manifester of the entire tarot deck. He is the father. He is able to create and make a life for himself that is so profound that it then has ripple effects out in the world, and he's able to take care of his community around himself. My big thing with the Pentacles, so the Pentacles is a suit that is all about action. It is about behavior. It's about changing our behavior to create the desired reality we want. The other three suits, the Wands, the Cups, and the Swords deal with mind, so it's an invisible realm. The mind, our own mental realm. The Cups is emotional, another invisible realm. It's our own personal, internal, emotional landscape. And then energy is the Wands, which is again another invisible realm. So you have these like invisible aspects of yourself that you're working with every single day, and you need to harness those and work with those, but then channel them through the Pentacles, which is our behavior. We channel that intention, we channel the witnessing of our emotion, we channel the discernment of our mind into our behavior, and then we're able to create the desired reality. And so when we pull King of Pentacles, it's saying that this is available to us. As a collective, as we're finding this alignment of the Eight of Wands, as we're starting to understand flow and authentic expression, and we start moving down the path with judgment of the path less traveled, the thing that actually lights us up, that aligns with us. And we really learn to accept and move on from our shame. We understand our shame is just part of the game. We then can step into the King of Pentacles energy. We can then really embody this manifesting energy formula power that all of us have. And so it being reversed is just saying we're not quite there yet as a collective. We're not quite living in that yet. We still have these other two big steps we need to do among other things. But in doing that, that's going to get us so much closer to that energy of being like, I'm going to create a life that actually is aligned for me. And in doing so, it's going to then have impact on the people around me in beautiful and profound ways.
Wow, thank you so much. If I will probably take a picture of the cards that I pulled before our call and, like, how in alignment with it is. It's synchronistic, I'll say
I
that.
love that.
So, yeah, thank you, and I know it was a collective reading, but, like, I felt that, so on point,
Same.
and I just love of course, that's why I have you on here, but I just love how you explain it. You were saying, like, they're a piece of paper, but, like, how you describe it, like, brings the story to life, so
Mhm.
thank you so much for bringing your gifts, and I would love for the audience to find you. How can they find you? What are your offerings?
Yes. Okay. So my website is Abigail Eir, and that's Air with an E. It's the Scandinavian Air, EIR, AbigailAir.com. And it's also Abigail Air on TikTok, Abigail Air on Instagram. So it's the same everywhere. And I teach tarot on TikTok and Instagram. But if you ever want to work deeper with me, I offer readings on my site. My favorite reading is the gut check, and I recommend everyone start there. The gut check is a recorded, like 15, 20-minute reading. I don't meet with you. And I think that's what's really fun about it. So I don't meet with you. You just give me your name, your email, and then you can fill out a form if you want it to be on like something specific, if you're going through a relationship thing, or if you just want a general reading, whatever it is. And then I just read for you and I send you this intuitive reading where I'm channeling for you. And then I also pull tarot cards. I love this because it's so shocking how accurate they are. And I'm always like surprised myself even. But I'm like, this is my gift. Like, open up to it. Like, they're so cool how I'll read for someone and they come back and they're like, oh my God, this is exactly what I'm going through. And then if you ever want to do deeper work, I offer integration readings, which is Zoom calls where we'd meet and we'd talk. And I'm actually going to be offering a new business consulting. So that's going to be where we're working together. I'm a generator. And I've noticed in my summer of sadness, my summer of suffering, I love reading for people, but I also want to be doing more. And so I'm opening up business consulting sessions where you get to hire me as a generator and I get to help you build something for your business. Like if you want a social media plan, like you and I can like tap in, we'll get in alignment, we'll get it. There's an intuitive aspect to it, of course, but then we're also going to sit down, we're going to make that thing for you. So I'm not just going to be like, oh, these are your blocks, because sometimes that's helpful, but sometimes we just need to get action. And that's what that offering is for. So check out my site, offering classes all the time too. Those change all the time though. So feel free to check that out and would love to work with any and all of you. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much for sharing all your information. I will make sure that is all in the show notes, and I just appreciate you so much for coming on here with us today. Welcome to Float Activity, the channel that guides you on a transformative journey towards spiritual wisdom, self-development, and healing practices, all aimed at elevating your intuition and aligning you with your soul's purpose. I'm your host, Kara Dempsey, and I'm thrilled to have you joining me as we learn together. Please subscribe and share this with a friend to help grow my channel. I appreciate you, and we'll chat soon.